Hi Titans, this is Mr. Cier here, and I'm going to show you a project in SketchUp. So we're going to go to our SketchUp icon right here. It's going to ask you to choose a template probably, so you're just going to choose the top template and press start again. It doesn't matter what person you have, it is important that you don't kill your person, so keep them there, don't get rid of them. I'm going to start by making a rectangle. All right, so using the square tool over here is the way we're going to start this project. And if you remember, we have to click and release so that it keeps an open square. If you have something like this, when you let go, it's already too late. We're going to click once, release the mouse button, and just drag the circle out without the mouse button down. That's going to allow us to type in dimensions. I'm only going to make a 6-inch, that's the depth, by 15-foot block, and I'm going to show you why. So 6 quotes, that means 6 inches, comma means by, and 15 apostrophe means feet in SketchUp. So if you look at the bottom corner of the screen, you'll see those numbers. Check it before you press return. Make sure that you have a second dimension, and your second dimension tells you whether it's feet or inches, and then press return. And this is what you'll have. All right, so I have a slab that I'm going to pull up another 15 feet. So I'm now using the push-pull. I pushed it up a little bit, and now I'm going to type in 15 apostrophe. It automatically goes to the bottom corner. You don't have to worry about where you put the cursor, by the way. It just automatically happens. Press return, and we're going to check our work now. All right, so basically this is hopefully a 15-foot high, 15-foot long, and 6 inches wide, and you can see that all those dimensions are accurate. So now we have like basically a big giant 6-inch thick wall right here. But basically you're going to start drawing the side view of whatever your robot's going to look like using these shape tools, and more so this pencil tool and this arc tool that you want on the 2-point arc. But what I want you to do is not use things like Wally or R2 or Optimus. I want you to come up with your own robot design. And some of you are like, well, how am I going to do that? I don't design robots. I'm not creative. So in that case, what I would like you to do is you can go to Google Chrome, and from there you could type in robots, and you could look at images of robots. But what the difference is you can look at your robots and say, oh, I really think that, this. Let me see if I can find, I like that this guy has like a wrench for a hand. Maybe I'll use that idea. Or I like that this guy has a very square head. Maybe I'll use that idea. Or that he has a dial here. I can put a dial on my robot. Okay, what I don't want you to do is try and create R2-D2. Somebody already created him, so we're going to give that guy credit and leave it alone. I don't want you to create Wally or Bender. But what I would like is for you to maybe look at the different ideas here and see which ideas you can borrow from each of these if you're having creativity problems. Maybe you want, you like something the shape of this person's leg, and also maybe you like the fact that this person's eyebrows are connected to their eye here, or that this robot has wheels instead of feet. Those are things, and by the way, most of these robots that came up are humanoid, which I'll discuss a little bit more later, but you can have robots of any shape, okay, so or of any, an animal. If you want a spider bot, that's fine with me, that'll be pretty creative. So those are things that you should think about before you start designing the shapes of your robot. All right, but please do stay away from copying all of any of these specific characters that I've already named. Here's an example of a robot dog, by the way. Not that you should copy it, but maybe yours will have wheels, and maybe it'll include a shaped head like this or something like that. Here's a bunny one. All right, so let's go back to our SketchUp project. All right, so I'm going to start by drawing the head of a robot. And by the way, there's no right way that a robot has to be, so this should be the time that you're creative. So this is going to be the head piece of my robot, and you can see that I use both the arc and the pencil to create a shape. Now you can see that it clicked automatically when I finished, and that's telling me that I could push and pull it. I'm not going to do that right now, and you shouldn't either. But I did close my shape. It's important that my shape is closed. I'm also going to draw an eye for my robot just so you have an idea of what this face is going to look like. And it looks like an evil robot for the record, but whatever. That's up to the artist, which in this case is me. So this is going to be his eye shape, or his eye socket, I should say. So that's pretty much two closed shapes that I've made. And this is the side view. So like his teeth, I guess, would be here. And he's kind of like, I guess, like a bird-like character. So I'm going to continue drawing other parts. This is going to be pretty much my shoulder part that I'm working on now. In mid-pencil, I can press escape to get rid of it so that I can go to a different area or change tools, press escape again there, so that I can do the separate parts. All right, now what's happening now, I'm just going to click this to show you what just happened. I didn't close my shape in a way that is on the right dimension. I'm basically off the face of the surface, which makes it not coplanar. Now, I may have explained this to you before, but this can happen here in this project too. So you want to be careful when you're clicking to make sure that it says on the face before you actually click. That's the way to make sure that everything is done right. Pressing escape to get out of that tool, going over here, and this time, hopefully, I'll be able to get it on my face. Okay, I don't need it to be that big. It's not saying I'm face now, so I'm going to click it, and I'm going to turn to make sure that I'm coplanar, which I'm not. So obviously this time SketchUp is having trouble realizing that I'm trying to make the arch on the face, and now I finally was able to do it. All right. Now, the hard part about this is imagining, pressing escape here, is imagining what your robot is going to look like parts at a time. So it's important that you do that in side view, and you'll see why shortly. These are the parts that I'm going to use to get started on my robot. The next thing I'm going to draw is an arm. So I just keep my finger on the escape button, and I use it when I need it. And I'm going to go down to my polygon tool because I want to create like almost like a nut or bolt here. I'm zooming in so I can make a smaller circle, and it tells me when it's in the center. All right, so this is going to be the arm of my robot. This is going to be the shoulder where the arm connects. This is going to be the waist. So now I could use a chest. And it doesn't matter where. I know that like you might think it matters where you're placing things. It actually doesn't matter for this part of the project. This is my chest. I decided that that chest is a little bit big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my selection tool and the shift button at the same time to select all the lines to create that chest piece. And it doesn't really matter if you include the inside or not. And now I'm going to use Tools, Scale, to make it a little bit smaller. That's probably about right. When I'm done scaling, I just want to use my selection tool and select somewhere on, like, off in space on the ground. Now I'm going to orbit, see if everything is coplanar, everything is looking good. So I just want to keep making my parts. Okay, I just wanted to come back for a minute to show you that I've drawn basically a leg here and also like a boot, which is going to be the foot. But I noticed that while I was working, although I used the arches and I thought I did a good job, I didn't check often enough. So I could see that one of my areas, if I orbit, is off. So I want to show you how to fix that without having to redraw the boot. We're just going to take our eraser tool, erase that, and now we can go back to doing what we were doing and trying to get our arch tool to fit correctly. The arc tool does seem to like occasionally miss, so that's something that you should definitely check. Like to make it easier on yourself, just every time you do it, check to make sure that you're on the actual surface, which you can see again, I'm not. So you might have to be careful about orbiting that and make sure that you do that correctly. I also noticed that this line apparently came off too, so now I got to do that, and I'm going to orbit again and look around real good to make sure that I didn't miss anything else. Everything else looks pretty good. So one more thing came up. Here I decided that I didn't like the way the boot was, so I'm going to bring it down a little bit here, and I'm going to go like this. So now I have this excess area that I don't need. Again, using the eraser tool, I just erase it. By the way, when I was going to show the next part, I was noticing that when I push-pull here, because I wanted to show a different part, some of my things didn't become two-dimensional. So what I'm going to do, or three-dimensional rather. So what I need to do is figure out the problem, and when I zoom in, I saw the problem right away. So all your shapes need to be closed, so make sure that you're closing them. I'm going to do maybe like this, and then press escape, and then I'm going to go over here and erase that so that that is now a sealed shape. And you want to do that, obviously I'm going to do it for my boot too, because there must be somewhere I'm going to have to search through it. There must be somewhere that it disconnects. So now you know.